recording.
Hi. Hi, and welcome to Mindfulness at Your Fingertips. I am Curtis Aubry. I'm a secondary math teacher. I've been teaching for 13 years, 11 for Trenton Public Schools, 5 as a high school teacher, and now 6 as a middle school teacher. I researched Jin Shin Jyutsu in an action research for my master's to see what the impact was on math anxiety and math test scores. Both went the way you would want them to go. My wife, who's a business consultant, has been teaching Jin Shin to executives, nurses, engineers, and HR people for years and years, and they all rave about it. I've been using Jin Shin with my students for 4 years, and I've taught other teachers and counselors in my building and my district, and they have gone on to teach others. And the students have been teaching their family. I have presented Jin Shin Jyutsu with the Association of Math Teachers in New Jersey Education Association, both at the state conferences. I have presented with Mind Spark Learning, a nonprofit of professional development on social emotional learning classroom at a national level. I'm going to be switching to a PowerPoint now and going through the presentation. And then I'm going to come back to showing you how to actually do Jin Shin, and then go back to the PowerPoint and complete. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. And as soon as it lets me start the slideshow. What is Jin Shin Jyutsu? It's a simple mindfulness technique. It's practical, it's somatic, which means it's about the body, it's a practice. It utilizes acupressure points on the fingers. It balances the body and all of its organs and systems. It restores the body to its natural balance. So if you've got too much of something, it gets you less. And if you don't have enough of something, it increases. It centers you. Why am I talking about Jin Shin Jyutsu? Well, it makes a big difference for me. And it's made a big difference for my students and in my classroom and for my peers. So I'm here to tell you about it. It's easy and simple to use and to learn. I'm also here to tell you because you're my partners. We're partners together in this thing called public education here in New Jersey. And we strive to be the best we can, and we're all in a very difficult situation, and this will help. So I'm here to share it with you, and you really deserve to know. I want to tell you a little bit about my students. You know, they're average kids, with needs and desires, but they have unbelievable challenging circumstances. They have extreme poverty. They're English language learners. They have difficult home lives. They move back and forth. Many are homeless. There's family issues, parenting issues. Some of the family is in different countries. There's gangs in Trenton, and there's community violence. Now, neither of those things actually comes into our classes and schools, but they have to live with it. So many of them actually have PTSD. They're survivors. They have to be. So when they're like that, they're slow to trust, and you really have to earn it. And you have to be patient and calm before they come around. And you can't just tolerate when it's not going well, because they'll read that and it won't go well. You have to be really calm and peaceful yourself while they come around to seeing that you're there for them and they can count on you and they can trust you. You know, they are like everyone else. I told you, they want a life that works. All right, so here's what we're going to do today. I'm going to tell you the benefits of Jin Shin Jyutsu. We're going to learn how to do Jin Shins. We're going to practice it together. We're going to talk about what you noticed, what you experienced. We're going to talk about what most people experience when they're doing Jin Shin. I'm going to tell you just a little bit about the science and some of the research validating it and the efficacy. I'm going to tell you stories I've seen and experienced with my students and my peers and my family, and I'm going to have further resources for you to come back to and continue this discovery and journey if you'd like to. The benefits. Well, you know, it really, here's a simple thing. It works with everyone. It works with general ed students. It works with special ed students. It works with my peers, and it works with the disabled. The only thing is people have to be able to hold their hands. That's my only caveat. You just need to take a moment to practice Jin Shin. What does it provide? It increases your calm, focus, and emotional regulation, your ability to get triggered by what someone does and get upset and let it pass. It increases test scores. Students have increased, we, teachers, students, have increased endurance and grit in the face of emotional challenges. It increases your immunity, your caring efficacy, which is a term used in the nursing trade, and it's your ability to care for others, to have a bonding relationship, which is exactly what we do in our profession. And it improves circulation. Now, here's the things you get less of that you want to have less of: less stress, less anxiety, less worry, fear, and anger. It decreases fidgeting. Students, when I do it, they stop fidgeting in their seat or greatly reduced. There's less need to leave the classroom, to go get a tissue, to go to the bathroom, to go to the nurse. There's less muscle tension. There's less pain. The research shows that people who use Jin Shin post-surgery need less pain medication. This is studied and documented to work. And it reduces the toxicity in your body. When would I want to do Jin Shin? Great question. Well, I regularly do it after lunch for my 5th period class because they're crazy and nutty and run down the hall to get there. And we pack 350 kids into a room that's meant for 200, and they have to wait 20 minutes before they get their food, and it's loud. It's the only time they can use their phone. And then I want to teach math when they come back. And it's towards the end of the day now. So it works after, when they're in that state. It works after a recess, after a fire drill. Really, what I'm trying to let you know is after any disruption to the routine. If there's a fight in the hall, if there are people running, when the weather is hot or cold, when the emotional states are running high or low, it doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. If it's interfering with your ability to be present with others or your students' ability to focus on the lesson, this is going to make a difference. It actually works with hungry. They're still going to be hungry, but they're going to not complain about it as much. Okay. Now I use it for important meetings, for observations that are planned, and I certainly use it when I have my surprise observation. When I walk in, I just start doing Jin Shin, and no one generally knows that I'm doing it, because when I show you, you'll understand what I mean, and I can keep going on with my lesson. Okay, I'm just going to read this. This is straightforward. So here's a quote. So it's not just a theory. The relationship between Jin Shin Jyutsu, self-care training for nurses, and stress, physical health, emotional health, and caring efficacy. This was recorded in a journal article in the Journal of Holistic Nursing, December 2014. Quote, shows healers, educators, parents, and medical professionals the tangible benefits of healing through an ancient yet efficient modality. This is just one research article I'm pointing out. Okay, here it is in the short. Jin Shin Jyutsu is free. It's free. You don't have to pay for anything, not at any time. It's easy to learn, it's easy to practice, and you'll see that it's easy to teach. It's portable. If you're there, it's with you because you're just holding your hands and breathing. It's expandable. You can do more of it or less of it as your time and situation demands. It's enjoyable. It's not hard. Like I'm biased. Meditation and yoga is hard for me. I'm 6'3" and 255 pounds. It's hard for me to do that stuff. This is easy. I don't know about you, but it's easy, and all of my students have been able to do it, and it's effective. In a moment, I'm going to turn the PowerPoint off, and we're going to do Jin Shin. But I look at that picture to the left. That is how you hold your hand. So that's your right hand holding your left thumb. gently. We're not squeezing. You're not choking your thumb. Now, I'm holding it in the air so you can see it, but now drop it gently to your lap. Okay, so you probably already took everything out of your lap. You're probably sitting up straight now. Great job. Okay, you want to put your feet flat on the floor. Now, and I'm going to now switch to just being together. I'm going to pause the PowerPoint now. So look for stop sharing, stop share. There. Okay, so now we're going to do Jin Shin. So right hand over left thumb. Okay. And so we hold fingers and then we transition to fingers. So I'm just going to show you. It looks like this, then like this, then like this, and like this. That's it. Now breathe. Okay, breathing. You know how to breathe. Breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the nose. I don't say that all the time. I forget. But that's what you're supposed to do. Breathe in and breathe out through your nose every time we switch fingers. Got that? Okay. So I'm going to hold it up. Please relax. Put your hands in your lap. Breathe in. Breathe out. Notice how you're feeling as we do this. Breathe in. Breathe out. Thank you. Now gently wrap your hand around your middle finger. Also pay attention to what you're experiencing. Now we're going to move on to our ring finger. Breathe in. Breathe out through your nose. Thank you. Now to your pinky. Breathe in. Breathe out. That is Jin Shin. What did you notice? What is present for you? Now, right now with a group, people would be volunteering and raising their hands and they'd be telling me. In a group, you would notice the quiet, the calm, the presence. There's not a lot of thoughts going on. The ease of life, the experience of regulating your emotions. You don't have to do anything. So I'm going to tell you what most people report. Calmness, quietness, nurturing, possibly more energy, less stress, less anxiety, less pain, like that. Okay. Now, I'm going to just show it. We're going to do it one more time. It's exactly the same, except we're switching. I'm going to take my left hand and hold my right thumb. There's no different benefits to doing this. It's just more Jin Shin. But you might be more comfortable holding one thumb versus the other. And the same with your students and the people you teach. So breathe in, breathe out. Okay, gently wrap your left hand around your index finger. Thank you. Now move on to your middle finger. Breathe in. Breathe out. Remember, your hands are in your lap and you're breathing through your nose. Move to your ring finger. Breathe in. Breathe out. Move to your pinky. Breathe in. Breathe out. That is Jin Shin again. It's also more Jin Shin. I'm going to start sharing the slides again. So the only thing I haven't said is that people might report, I didn't notice anything. If they say that, first of all, It's perfect. Whatever you experienced, whatever your students experience, it's perfect. That's what they experience. You don't have to resist it or convince them of something else. But you can know and you can tell them that in the research, they've had people lay down in, MRI, a functional magnetic resonance imaging device, and had them do Jin Shin. And the practitioners, the masters, would say, this is now going to happen. This is going to happen in my body. There's going to be energy flowing there along the meridians and returning balance and flow. And they can see it. They can see the energy flow in the body. So Jin Shin works. It has a physical manifestation in the body exactly as promised. Does that mean you'll get the experience that you want when you want it? No. It just means it's providing energy and returning balance and flow there. Is it improving things? Yes. Is it making a difference? Yes. Might you need to do it more? Might you need to get quieter to notice? Maybe. But you can confidently know that it's working and making a difference. This slide shows a summary, a brief overview of what each finger and the palm provides. This is in the resources, so I'm not going to spend enough time for you to study this right now. You can pause it later on, playing it back. You can bring it up on the website. I want to point out that it works on two things fundamentally. It works on specific organs and systems of the body as one thing, that's a physical manifestation. And in the mental and spirit, it works on different emotions and moods, you can say. So it brings balance from the palm. The thumb works on the attitude of worry and works on the skin. The index finger works on the attitude of fear and on your muscular system. The middle finger, this should not be a surprise, works on anger. Think about it, okay? And it works on your blood supply. Okay, the ring finger works on grief and sadness for an attitude and your deep skin. Your pinky works on pretense and your skeletal system. All right, so if we were doing that right now, there'd be questions. So here's some of the common questions. How long do I hold each finger? Great question. As long as you want. As long as your intuition tells you to. I know that's vague. So in the beginning, start with one breath like we did. If that works for you, keep it. If you want more, great. If you want to do two fingers on one breath, that's fine too. This is yours. It's a gift from the masters to me, to you. How do I get more benefits? Spend more time doing Jin Shin. Do your left hand, then go to your right hand. Okay, that wasn't enough, go back to your left hand. If that's boring, go to your right hand. Oh, you just want to do one hand? Great, just do those. Go from the thumb to the finger and then start again and do the hand all over again. Does your intuition tell you you need to spend more time on one finger or thumb? Do that. If the chart tells you, if you know you're angry, just walk around holding your middle finger for a while. I would do a little bit of everything else. Your whole body's beefed up and nurtured, but do that. When am I done? One time through is Jin Shin. So you're done when you say it's time to stop, when you've run out of time, when you feel better, when the class has calmed down enough to move on. That's the part about it being expandable. You get to decide. Oh, what happens with a classroom of students? Okay, so I think it's on the next slide. Yeah, so in a classroom of students, you're going to have people say, this doesn't work. I don't like this. This is stupid. And you can imagine more things like that. They'll say that. Don't worry. Let them say it. Just say thank you. Other people are going to say, oh my God, my headache's gone. I was angry. I'm not anymore. And some people aren't going to be saying anything. But if you look at them, they're blissed out. You can't believe they're that happy and malleable, you could say. It's extraordinary. What do you want to do when you're implementing it? Well, in a moment, I'm going to tell you how to introduce it, but you want to make it routine and normal. The Eberton is the kid that says this is crazy and stupid, and Jennifer's like the kid that said, oh my God. And I came in from lunch angry and upset, and they were so mean to me at lunch, and I have a headache, and I can't do any math. And now she's blissed out. Now she's not mad. She doesn't have a headache anymore. She goes home and tells her mom about it, does it with her mom, who's got some condition, I'm not sure what. Next day, she comes into crying, telling me what a difference she made for her mom and how present she is. And she experienced making a difference for her mother. What a gift. In your classroom, if there's too much negative emotion, great time to do it. If there's too much positive emotion, great time to do it. After lunch is a great time to do it. They're crazy and chaotic. They'll be calm and more focused. It's like math vectors. It's going to move in the direction you want, okay? Different grade levels have different responses. My 7th graders, they kind of go along with it. They're not so eager to do it. They're not asking for it, but every time I do it, they will. As a class, inside that class, there's going to be a couple kids who won't do it, but they're quiet and they go along because they can see it's making a difference, because I'm not forcing anyone. It's optional. I sometimes even give it as an extra credit grade quiz if they participate. Grades, what are you going to use? I use it to get kids to do things I want them to do. It works. They're respectful of each other. In my 6th grade class, they loved it so much they started demanding it, asking for it, pleading for it, bargaining for it. Then they started wanting to come to the front of the room and do it with me. And they learned how to really do it well. And then they wanted to do it on their own and lead the class. And they were great at it. Okay, my SAC counselor, there's 3 definitions for that, so whatever. Ms. Thomas, she loves it. She works in 4 middle schools in Trenton. She's only got 1 day a week in the schools. She sees the worst kids in the building that need the most help, that no one else can help. They come in screaming, yelling, cursing, throwing things, breaking things. She does Jin Shin with them. They calm down. They listen. They listen to her questions. They reflect. They grow. They develop. They come out of there thoughtful, taking new actions. You want to be doing this. Okay, for you, now during this pandemic, you want to be doing this for yourself. You can just stand there and do it. If you're stressed watching the news, do some Jin Shin while you're watching the news. Watch less news too. There's lots of frustration and stress out right now. Share this with your family. Just say, hey, let's do this together. That's how you'll get good at it. Get people to do it with you. If you think it's cool, make a short video, share it with your students on Google Classroom or Zoom or whatever you got, Flipgrid, whatever works. And when we get to go back to class in school, show someone else. Be generous. Okay, this is how I begin in a class. Go to the front of the room and say, I've learned something that I want to share with you. I'm a beginner. I'm new to this, but I think it'll be good for all of us. Say it's the ancient Japanese mindfulness practice. That's enough. And then say, gently wrap your right hand around your left thumb. Now, they'll all have their hands up in the air. So then you can say, okay, now drop them down to your laps now, because they'll do everything you say, right? And do the whole thing like we practice. And then say, what did you notice? And listen. And let everyone talk if you can. And then say all responses are perfect. And if they don't point out what's present in the room, that's the only thing I would add. Answer their questions, move on, and go back to your lesson, and then practice and do it again tomorrow. It is a practice. There's not about getting it perfect, and you're going to get value every single time. A little history. It's an ancient Japanese practice, mostly from an oral tradition. Some point, someone wrote down some scrolls. About 100 years ago, a Japanese doctor who was really out of balance discovered them, studied them, practiced it. Mary Burmeister was living in Japan, an American. She studied with him, loved it, came back to Arizona in 1950 and started teaching others, and formed the Jin Shin Institute. And it's now practiced and researched all around the world. And here is what I want to show you. There's some resources. The first is the Jin Shin website for uh, Arizona. The second is it's a bit.ly. It's a connection to inside their website, which is hard to find, which is a connection to write for and request a free DVD training for educators and people of low income. You could just Google Jin Shin and you will find all kinds of things. The next link is my link to my Google uh, slide that I'm sharing with you, and doc and a folder. And if you'd like to follow me, you can find me on Twitter and LinkedIn. And um, let's see, I just want to say, let me stop sharing here. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate you listening. I look forward to hearing from you, your discoveries and your shares and your breakthroughs, or any questions or other things you discover on this path, and bring it back to me, because someone shared it with me so I could share it with you. And I just wish you the best social emotional learning and mindfulness at your fingertips. Thank you.